Hello, everyone. Can everyone hear me? Great. So today I'm going to be talking about AI crypto, as was said. And I'm going to do a little bit of a 30,000 feet out view of why is this space interesting, and kind of take it from first principles. What are the things to be looking at in this category? So what's the motivation? What we have today is this massive usership in AI. ChatGPT has hundreds of millions of users using it every week. Products are coming out left and right, and tons of money is entering the space. People can't seem to get their hands on hardware, and we have a great backdrop for a very, very exciting new technology and new products. But what are the problems? There's a lot of problems evident today with AI. The first is that the infrastructure is highly centralized. Model storage, model ownership, and governance is all stored on central servers and places that can be taken down. Computation on models is also centralized. They're behind big public clouds and big GPU services, access to training data. And most models are also censored. If you try any of even the open source models, they're highly censored. And it's become this cat and mouse game to try to get deep, interesting information out of these models. This infrastructure is also highly permissioned. There's high cost to using and improving AI. It takes advantage, or it's advantaged by centralized players. These things are very expensive to train and operate. They also have centralized permission APIs to access anything. So again, it's another gateway for you accessing these AI models. And then finally, these systems don't provide you any privacy, any computational integrity, and any censorship resistance. So this creates a good backdrop for where I think crypto can have an interesting place for AI. And then finally, governments, incumbents, large corporations are attempting to now regulate the space to try to cut out any new players from entering the space. And I think it kind of goes from a philosophical point to show, they're kind of trying to attempt to say, we know what's in your best interest. But I think people know what's in their best interest. The future impact here is really large. With enough data, you can replicate anyone virtually or physically. You can have a politician say what they want to say, have your favorite actor or movie star write what they want to write, and it's believable by a lot of people. So this will lead to a lot of scams. Increasingly, as we become more digital and online, it's another vector and entry point for these models to become highly susceptible in the world. There's a really great potential to create highly engaging new forms of media and propaganda and chat. The 2024 US election ads are already using AI. So we're already moving in this direction of AI starting to control these forms of media, which is really, really big. And so I think an important thing here is who's controlling the models? Who's controlling what goes into them? Who's controlling the governance aspect? And who controls who builds the products on top? These are a couple slides, or a couple images from a talk I really like called The AI Dilemma. They basically talk about social media was this great Web 2 innovation, allows anyone to publish, create all these great things. You can connect to your friends, you can talk to people, you can get jobs, but it also created all these bad things. Everything from information overload to these highly addictive online platforms. Today, AI has a lot of great promises, but it also has a lot of potential issues. Everything from creating highly engaging, fake, robotic characters and chats that engage people, to building new types of scams. And so with all of this, it's kind of a scary picture. I think crypto is the thing that will help solve a lot of these issues and really create the AI future that we want. AI is this highly centralizing technology. It takes advantage of large swaths of data collected into these big models, and they're improved from that standpoint. Crypto is this highly decentralizing technology. It brings power back to the people, and it allows people to have sovereignty over their information, their data, and how they transact. And so the obvious thing is to combine these two things. Combine this power of intelligence with this trustlessness you get from crypto. Crypto AI, at least the aim, is to go from won't be evil to can't be evil, and not allowing big corporations or governments or really anyone tell you what to do and how to transact. If we've already decentralized money and music and property records and compute, why not AI? So this is how I think about the AI stack, and this is something that we've kind of stolen from Ilya, and credit to him in this mental framing. At the bottom right, we have compute. So everything from verifiable inference to training, privacy of user data, and censorship resistance, all through cryptography and game theory. On top of that is the models, the things that are actually being used and interacted with by the end applications. On top of this is the data. What are the things that are actually feeding the models and trying to make these things open? And then finally are the applications on top. What are the things people are building on top of these models? Alongside the left here is governance, which is all of these pieces of the stack have an element of governance. And crypto governance is a really great way to manage, how should a certain AI model, be steered, how should it interact with people, and things of that nature. So a big question is, what are the use cases? And I think a really good, interesting mental framing is to say, AI is really good at finding information or creating information, creating properties of programs that were not explicitly programmed. If you take a swath of data and it gathers you some insights on it, how are ways we can apply that in the crypto world that would be interesting? One is very simple. So it's validity, safety, privacy, being able to interact with an LLM or a diffusion model in a way that's private or is keeping your data sovereign is already a great start. And as we go down, there are examples in every subcategory. Within DeFi, you can build automated LP strategies that are run by an AI model. You can build new ways to parameterize risk and to adjust, say, the interest rate parameters in a lending protocol. In NFTs, it's things like appraisal, improving and kind of enhancing the interactivity of the NFT. In gaming, it's building autonomous worlds. It's building personalized experiences, allowing games to take your information and improve how the game is actually done. Within social, building trustless recommendation systems, ways to recontextualize information. Imagine if your favorite author or your favorite writer, you don't like the writing style, but you like their content. You can take their content and have it recontextualized to you in a way that might be better for you. Maybe it's simpler language, maybe it's in the form of Hemingway, or really anything like that. The world is your oyster. And finally, governance. Being able to have DAOs build automated governance proposals, which today is a highly human-focused, human-intensive task and very laborious. And as the DAO space grows, it's going to be difficult to keep up with the number of humans that are needed to staff DAOs. We should let AI help what we're doing with governance. And this is just the beginning. There are many, many, many more applications. I think my slider was cut off, but one other example, it's kind of an interesting sci-fi example, is imagine you can take a human language intent, driven by an LLM, and then turn it into self-assembling smart contracts. So an example would be, I could type into a chatbot and say, I want you to build me synthetic 2x levered exposure to Apple with NEAR tokens as collateral. Normally, that would take 5 or 10 steps. The synthetic exposure might be on a different protocol. The Apple might be in a different protocol. Near's on a different, different protocol. And so what if you could have an LLM that generates these inputs, feeds them through one of these new intent protocols, and then self-assembles the smart contracts and generates you that payoff, all autonomously? The future of finance, really can be driven by AI. So for those in the audience that are interested in building in this space, outside of the use cases that I mentioned, there's also a lot of really interesting research directions to think about. One is, how do we do proofs of validity? How do we prove that the compute done for a model was done correctly? There's a subsector of the space called ZKML that's quite popular, and there's also a lot of interesting teams building in the optimistic proof side of this space. Decentralized training. How can we build these trustless training mechanisms and create the foundation models of tomorrow and build transparent foundation models? AI model governance. How do we govern how an AI interacts with a human and how it should behave for a specific human and their preferences? And then finally, privacy in AI. ZK proofs only go so far. Can really only prove information, prove things about local information. So we'd have to look to the next generation of technologies: FHE, trustless execution environments, and maybe MPC. So I didn't talk much about what we're doing. Ritual is the company that I'm working on, and the first product we came out with yesterday is called Infernet. It sort of comes from the term inference. So Infernet is an SDK that allows any smart contract developer to use an AI model in their smart contract. There's a bit of an outline here showing how that actually works, but the end goal here is to make it extremely simple for people to use or build any of those applications I talked about just a few slides ago. And that's it. For more information, it's my email, my Twitter, and then the Twitter handle of our company. Thank you all.